Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight is the weekly True Crime and Chill, and joining me tonight is your favorite Beckham After Dark by Candle. See, I even messed up my own joke. How are you doing, Beckham?
What's up, man? Happy Friday. It's finally here. The weekend is here. Time to get some rest, but then back at it again. Because there was a short week due to the holiday. We had a
Yeah,
holiday
and
this
it didn't
week,
feel
so
like it.
right?
Oh my gosh. You're right, it was, but thank goodness it's Friday. It's the weekend. So, yes, like you said, we can absolutely relax. So, inquiring minds want to know, let's get it out of the way. What candle do you have burning
Forest
tonight?
fir.
Forest fir.
That's
That
the
sounds
name of it.
kinky.
Forest fir. It smells really good. And it's green. So
Okay.
when it burns and turns into a dark green. So if you're into green or greenery, it illuminates green with a little bit of a shade. Kind of
That's
sets
deep.
them. Yeah. I'm sorry. All
Why
right,
don't you do candle reviews? For real. If you do a channel with candle reviews, oh my God.
uh,
Yankee Candle sponsor Mr. Beckham. My God. Well, you heard it here, folks. And I don't even know how to repeat that. So let's just say it's a forest candle and he likes it. There we go. So before we jump into things, and there's a lot tonight, I just want to give a shout out to friend of the show. She is not around tonight, but I did message her and say, girl, I am going to be plugging and repping your shirt tonight. So, friend of the show, Allison, has an Etsy shop. So, I did post the link and I did start, and she sells some really cool Karen Reed based kind of, t-shirts and mugs and stuff like that. I bought, besides this shirt, I bought a mug that I showed several weeks ago, but I wanted to, with all the Karen Reed news this week, I have 3 sections of different things of
yeah, I
note.
saw. Yeah, I saw that the dude. They're We'll get to it, but
We'll
man,
get to
they
it.
in their we'll get to it, but in their mind, their mindset is they feel they want to go after her, and they plan in their own mind. Remember, their mindset. We know what's happened before. We know this what's surrounding the case now, but in their mindset, they really feel they're gonna get her, or they're gonna try to. They're going after
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We will
her.
get to
Yeah.
that. There's a lot. There's a lot. But I felt tonight was the perfect night to wear the shirt from Allison Shop. So when I ordered it, I saw it and I was like, oh my God, I need that shirt. So what it says, and if y'all listened to the trial testimony, you might remember some of these key statements. So you won't be able to kind of see it all because it goes all the way down. But what it said is from Alan Jackson's closing arguments. So it's look the other way. Conflicts of interest doesn't matter. Just look the other way. Magic hairs, magic glass, falsified affidavits, butt dials galore. Just look the other way. That's what they want. Never, ever look the other way. And then at the very bottom, it said Karen Reed's innocent. So, and that was a full hour of this is just a clip of a full hour of a closing
Yeah.
argument that Alan Jackson
Jay,
did. If you missed it, oh my God, go back. Beckham, we talked about that, and that was back when that happened. But check out her shop, y'all. Again, friend of the show, Allison. So love the shirt. Thank you, girl. All right. So let's see
we need to
who's
do a
here.
top. You need to do a top 10 list of the breakdown of the characters with the Karen Reed case. Do a top 10. Like you could literally do a top 10, and it would be cool if you did it with your friend. You know,
Oh, Auntie Deb.
yeah, like of the characters, like and why is so and so number 8, and why is so and so number 3, and then who tops it at number 1? Because this case, I know, again, I feel bad for the guy, but this case has just been completely
Officer
like,
John O'Keefe.
yeah, it's been, I always forget his name, sorry, but yeah, this case is just really over the top now, and it's got its own characteristic, it's got its own characters, it's just its own story, and it's just become this elevated thing now. So, but
Yeah.
geez, yeah, that would be
And
funny if you did a top
Roy,
10 list.
ordinarily, I would rip you to shreds for saying what you just said in regards to characters, but that's what this trial became.
I
And
would,
it's so
I wouldn't have
unfortunate
said
that
it.
that happened.
Right. I wouldn't have said it, but it has become
Right.
that, and it has indulged into something. It's become something out of like a, not even a movie. It's just like a, man, I don't even know, a comic strip, sort of. But like,
Mhm.
yeah, it's got its own characters now, to where you would literally have a top 10 list, and like you could rank them and have something to go along with that in the ranking process.
Mhm.
But it's,
Yeah,
again,
and
that's what it's
Auntie
become.
Deb, over on his channel, like
Yeah.
like for those of you who haven't
Right.
checked it
Yeah.
out, and I
Yeah.
did have him
Exactly.
on. He dresses up like each of them and does like over the
It's
top
skits. Yeah.
impersonations.
Right.
But it's oh my god, I can't say enough about his channel. So love Auntie Deb. Check out his channel if you want to kind of get more of a comical view of it, but it's tasteful. It's not disrespectful. It's what it's become here in Massachusetts. But we will get into that. We will get into that. So let's see who is here tonight. James Watson was the first one with a comment. A new Danny After Dark that makes me diddy with excitement.
That's good. But I give him. He's already earned the comment of the night for the comment a little bit lower.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Hey, Kane, good to see you. Is this live tonight? Yes, it's live tonight.
I only do live shows. I don't do pre-recorded shows.
You are such a little princess and a diva. Oh my gosh.
I've
Yeah,
never done
Beckham.
it. I've never done a recorded one. Never. Never. Not even on our other channel. You and
Yeah,
Paul
that's
have
what I
always.
stopped to think.
Yeah, you and Paul are the only ones that have done the recorded ones. I've never done a recorded one.
Wow, Beckham. That's impressive. I mean, I really don't care, but that's impressive.
I only do live.
God, lucky me.
Welcome to the live show.
I will boot you in 2 seconds. Hi, Tony L. Good to see you. We got the door open with the cats. We got Tuka. I think we got Luke running around here in the back over there. Let's see. Tony Stewart. Hello. Danny is so into it. I mean, if you can't escape it here. You
Well,
cannot
it's in your town. It's like next door. Like you walk outside and you take one step to the right and you're in that town.
Oh, and I'm in Canton? Not exactly, but for all the times you talk about Canton, it feels that way.
You're in the city limits of that town, whatever its name.
Canton, yeah. God. Some Delphi. Yes, Tony, we'll be talking Delphi. Hey, K-Dog. Oh, God, I know Florida got hit bad, man. Let's see. Beckham After Dark. I mean, I think he should start his own channel
Danny
and just
in the light.
Candles, honestly.
It's Beckham. I'm already in the dark, and Danny's in the light.
Yeah, and more literally and figuratively. So I have it in order. Beckham, we're going to switch it up a little bit because I feel like we just need to. Let's just go to Karen Reed and get that out of the way, and we will go from there.
Ooh, the Melendez brothers. Girl, you know it's true. Ooh, 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 I love you.
Oh, I can't wait to screen grab that and send that to Paul. Yeah, you better believe. So, and there's no Melendez brothers. It's the
whatever brothers.
Oh God, such a shame his Wi-Fi went out. We don't have him for the rest of the show.
Menendez brothers.
Thank you. Gosh. All right. Karen Reed. I'm wearing the shirt. We talked about it briefly. 3 different pieces of news that came out this week that is worth talking about. So, big things. So this week, we'll start with number 1. Attorneys representing the ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberties Union, submitted a brief to the Massachusetts highest court in the case of Karen Reed's effort to get counts 1 and 3, those charges, dropped from her murder case. According to the Supreme Judicial Court docket for Karen's appeal, the ACLU Massachusetts attorneys motioned to file what's known as and I'm probably going to butcher this, amicus brief for the case. Their brief was accepted. So definition, because I didn't know what that meant. And again, I'm probably mispronouncing it. My apologies. The amicus brief is filed by a third party that is not involved in the case, but has an interest in the outcome. So in this case, the ACLU is arguing that an evidentiary hearing is necessary to determine if the jury had in fact reached a verdict on certain charges prior to the declaration of the mistrial, and whether a retrial on those counts would be unconstitutional double jeopardy. Again, counts 1 and 3 specifically. Daniel McFadden, a managing attorney for the ACLU of Massachusetts, said, quote, "The ACLU filed this brief to highlight serious constitutional concerns about the trial court's process. Our core concern is what occurs when a viable question is raised regarding the outcome of the jury's deliberations, and what processes will be employed by the trial courts addressing similar circumstances in the future. Both federal and state law include fundamental protections against the burden of multiple prosecutions, and the ACLU seeks to ensure that those rights are appropriately safeguarded for all defendants," end quote. So the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, aka the prosecution, has acknowledged the appeal and said its responses would be filed accordingly with the Supreme Judicial Court. The prosecution's response is actually due by next Wednesday, and then Karen Reed's attorneys will have until October 25th, so 2 days after, to reply. So that is the first piece of news. Beckham, what is your thoughts?
I have no idea what any of that means. I just know that they're trying to find a loophole to try to get something out of the whole retrial. That's what it just seems to me.
Okay. In a nutshell, the American Civil Liberties Union here is backing Karen Reed. They are backing Karen Reed that basically counts 1 and 3 should have been dropped.
But they're trying to do a formal. They're trying to go by it formally to make sure that, hey, look, we even went here. We're serious about what we're doing, because you got to remember this. Their people made everybody just look incompetent. The whole case, everybody, the lead investigators, and I'm pretty sure they might have thrown the prosecution off by like, oh my God, did they not really know what they were doing? Like that time they were probably, shocked and like, what's that? They were blindsided. So I think that they're trying to formally do something to where like, look, we're like, I told you the mindset this is their mindset. They're bringing in that guy, Gary, or whatever his name is. Mm-hmm. They're paying him a lot of money, 300 hours worth of work, right? 300 hours. Yeah, that's a lot. And he's on their team now, and I just think it's a formal thing to make sure that, look, we are serious about this, and that their mindset is they believe they can still get her, even if it's somewhat, something.
Yeah.
So because
that
they
Hank Brennan is who you're referring to.
That prosecution and that team and that everybody was made to look like a fool. Mm-hmm. And they were blind. I guarantee you they were blindsided.
See, I don't think they were blindsided, in my opinion. I think they thought that they still had a chance, that maybe the jury would look past all the incompetencies of the state.
I don't know. Those people have enough, dude. I'm telling you, they have enough experience. I'm talking about the prosecution, the lawyers. I'm not talking about the investigator. Yeah, they know. I mean, they're smart, and they had to have seen what they had, but they didn't know about the what do you call it? The text messages and exchanges, calling them, just all of that other stuff. I think it just kind of erupted on them during as everything was unfolding day by day. And I were like, what,
Right. Okay.
who
Okay.
was
I get
working?
what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that's what
I
I'm
thought you
talking
meant
about.
blindsided at the trial.
No, I'm talking about
Okay.
the investigation,
Okay.
the investigation itself. How incompetent it was, and they were blindsided by it. I'm pretty sure they looked at everything and like, okay, well, they got this, they got that, this, or that kind of thing, but they didn't know that one guy was talking to the DEA agent, who was then threw away his phone, and the DEA agent calls his FBI friend asking him how to get rid of him. I mean, it was just all kinds of craziness. That is what I'm talking about when they got blindsided.
Okay.
They did not know their incompetency of the investigative team or the unit or whatever you want to call it. Okay. And that, to me, that's what ruined it for them. That's what made them completely, the jury was like, y'all don't even know what y'all are doing. How can we make a ruling on a person on trial when the information you're giving me is not even accurate? That's what happened here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that prosecution team was blindsided. I'm telling you. And they want to make this a formal thing. They brought in that guy to balance it out. That guy has been on both sides of the coin.
He has.
He's seen what dirty cops do, because he's gone against dirty cops. He's
represented dirty cops.
He's represented dirty. Yeah, he's seen what they do. So they brought in the perfect person to balance out what happened. And now they have this new mindset that they feel they have enough, and they feel, and I'm talking about their mindset. I'm not talking that they actually do, right? Their mindset, and they're going to strategize the best strategy that they can come up with to go after her, and this is a formality of that. That's what's happening.
And that's what, yes, the prosecution's planning. And as of now, trial to begin January 27th for the retrial. We will see.
Yep.
But
I hope I put that in a better, there you go.
No, you phrased that very well. Thank you. Few people in the comments coming in. Hey, William Eddie. Hello. Hey, Russell. Let's see. Beckham needs a dark headset to go along with his new Man in Black look. No, when he ditched the white glasses, it's the white headphones that we're left with. So let us have the moment. Okay, you guys are talking about laundry in the chat. It's a Friday night. Y'all are wild. You do you. So
lots of people do laundry while they're listening to podcasts. I used to do that. I used to fold laundry. Or I fold laundry when I listen to something.
Oh my gosh, I throw YouTube on and I do dishes and I do clean and just have it on in the background. Yep, absolutely. Just like people will be able to hear the whatever thing you just did 10 minutes ago that I'm going to screen grab and see. I already forgot what it was, but I know it was within the first 15 minutes of the show, so I'll go back and find it. Hey, Wolf, good to see you. I love the smell of Tide. Reminds me of a gorgeous girl I used to date. Wolf.
Tide, the smell of Tide reminds me of the 80s. Wolf, was it back in the 80s?
Wolf, this sounds like a story that you need to wait and go on Beckham After Dark and tell it there. Because I think Beckham on his own channel.
Dude, before there was
ambiance with the candle.
Before there was Netflix and chill, I guarantee Virginia Woolf was rocking the Tide smell and put in God, what's that? I could see him popping in Slumber Party Massacre as he made out with the girl on the couch.
Oh God, Wolf, you opened yourself up to that one. Sorry, hon. Oh gosh. So, all right. As much as this laundry chat is absolutely fascinating. Oh, wait, we got an update. We used to do laundry together in college. Close. Oh, was that what it was called back then, Wolf?
No. Dude, my story's better. Before Netflix and chill, you were on the couch with her and you were in the, you guys were watching the Slumber Party Massacre in the background.
This is a wholesome family show. Keep careful where you're going.
That's a horror movie. It really is.
Hmm. I bet it is. I don't. I'm not. I'm not into horror movies actually.
You're not?
No. No.
I am shocked by that, but okay.
They're so like. I feel like being into true crime, like you watch it in like a horror movie and you're like, that's so fake. It's not real. Like, in what world is there a Freddy Krueger? In what
In what
world
world
is
is there a pizza man that gets his eyeballs taken out by a screwdriver, and girls in the living room in their underwear playing pillow fighting?
Okay, you're talking about a very different
That's
genre right
slumber
now,
party. I'm talking about, dude.
Beckham.
Google Slumber Party Massacre right now, and you will see the cover of that movie,
Okay.
and it will tell you exactly what type of movie it was.
I'm not going to, but okay. Okay. But no, it's just like I sit there and I'm like, okay, real people are way scarier than horror movie people. Like,
What?
sorry, that's just me. That's just me. I know I'm the minority here. Everybody loves horror films. It's October. I get it. You do you. That's amazing.
Oh,
For
you know
me,
what
I
I want to
just
see
sit there and I'm
behind you
like,
one day? My goal behind you, right there, there's a spot right behind your head on the wall. I want to see the poster of Slumber Party Massacre framed.
yeah, keep
Please,
waiting.
just
Keep
one
waiting.
time. Just one time.
Wolf says, Beckham, watch Happy Birthday to Me. LOL. 80s
80s
horror.
horror.
Okay. Danny watches Bridgerton. See, I don't even know what that is. Okay. So, Karen Reed, number 2. So, oh my God. 2 things came out today. And this is the first one that came out today. We learned that what's known as keeping the peace cost the state nearly $210,000 in overtime, according to the Massachusetts State Police. They provided data about the trial's cost in a response to a records request. So to break that down more specifically, security at Norfolk Superior Court totaled $258,278.94. Of that, $208,112.71 was state troopers' overtime pay. That totaled about 2,264 hours beyond the 806 regular hours of work, according to the police. They did not share what the cost was of providing security for a typical trial. So they just released it on the Karen Reed one. So that is my tax money.
Wow, that's a
That is
lot
my
of money,
tax money.
dude.
And we're gonna do it again. And you don't think now it has way more publicity than when it first started. And
And how
it's
much are
had
they
a lot.
charging? And you got to add 78,000. Was it 75 or 78,000 to hire Gary? Is
75
that his name, Gary?
for Hank Brennan.
Hank. I knew it was like like one of those names. Okay, Hank. Yeah, Hank Brennan. I'm sorry. How much was it? 70.
75,000.
That's all.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
his
that's
contract
cash.
is up to.
That's upfront cash. Win or lose.
Imagine
I wonder if he gets half up front and then like half after the truth.
I don't know. I don't
like you know what I
care.
mean? Like a hit. Like you get half up front and then half after the deal's done.
The only thing, so
That's
going into
I'm
a
laughing at my own joke.
retrial,
Yeah.
like we just talked about, Beckham, the thing that it's going to start in the winter. Does that mean there'll be less people outside because of Massachusetts is cold in the winter? It is.
Nobody cares
Yeah.
as long as it's
Or I
not.
was going to say, or are they just going to be
As
out there
long-
supporting?
Yeah, as
And
long
we're
as
going
it's
to
not
have to pay all this money again with our taxes.
as long as it's not a Category 3 hurricane.
Oh, Turtle Boy will be there with his
and
people,
then
100%.
blessings to all those people that had to live through that. But yeah, as long as it's not something like that, weather-wise, I think people. No, I don't think people would just be like their Eskimo jackets and boots and hot chocolate going around. Yeah, I think people will do it.
Yeah,
Dude,
me and
people
Liz plan to
big
take
time
another day. Go.
They outside in the cold and the weather, they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, people
Yeah.
there was a big game. There was in the NFL last year where it snowed and whatever. Oh yeah, the Chiefs. Was it last year or the year before? Some fans got frostbite because of it.
Yay, sports.
No, I'm just saying people will do. I mean, people, yeah, unless it's something like crazy, yeah, they'll be there.
Yeah.
You'll be there, Danny. You will be up in front, center.
Oh, I will. Me
We're
and
sending
B
you with a
Liz are
microphone.
going to take a day, and
You
we're
need to
going.
get you one of them microphones with,
I'm sorry. What was that gesture you just did?
like a
Was that a
microphone.
microphone?
Yeah, like a microphone.
Okay. It looked like something else. We'll leave it at that. Like and
All right,
subscribe.
Dirty Danny.
Well, it is what it is. Don't hate the player, hate the game. So, what we learned today, and when I saw this breaking news, I literally thought, oh my God, Beckham, I cannot wait. I purposely didn't message you this because I wanted to see what you thought. And I don't know if you've already read it, but I was kind of hoping you didn't so we could get your response on air.
I haven't read it.
If you already read it, it is what it is.
No.
So what broke just a couple hours ago was Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully has been transferred out of Norfolk DA's office. He has now been moved to the headquarters investigative unit.
Whoa.
He was one of the, again, people that testified at the Karen Reed trial for the prosecution, for the state, Mass State Trooper. So where I saw this first broke was on the Twitter account for the Howie Carr Show. And no, I don't have Twitter. I honestly saw Turtle Boy's post and he reshared Howie Carr's post. And when I went to find the original source, that was all I could find. So what Howie Carr broke was Channel 4 reporting Mass State Police Lieutenant Brian Tully is gone from the DA Morrissey's office. This is one day after the revelation. Okay, and this came out too. There's a lot going on with Turtle Boy behind the scenes, so but I don't really talk about that a ton here.
That's your new famous friend.
That's the trivia we went to, me and Auntie Deb. So this is one day after it was revealed that Lieutenant Brian Tully hacked Turtle Boy Aiden Kearney's phone, despite the judges telling him the phone was basically already, quote unquote, pristine, end quote. So Aiden is, Turtle Boy is facing his own charges in regards to, you can look that up if you want to see what that is going on, but it's all turning out thus far in Turtle Boy's favor. So again, this is just another Mass State Trooper who worked this case and is now being transferred out. Because, I mean, we haven't got like the official report as why, they'll sugarcoat it and whatever. But the timing is just, come on. What do you think, Beckham?
I mean, it says the
another one
magnitude
bites the dust?
Yeah, another one bites the dust. Now, what I want to see is after the Karen Reed trial, there's going to be charges against these guys. No? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think so. I don't
Why?
think so.
Would you rather it be crime? Dude, their investigation was so bad.
Oh, 100%.
It's almost like
where do you begin?
It's almost
from the top down. There was so many involved.
Right, but it's almost like, hold on, I'm getting a drink. But it's almost like it was criminal. So would you rather it be? I'd rather it almost like like you rather at least be like criminalized rather than just having shit the bed that bad.
I think Trooper
that makes
Proctor's
any
taking
sense.
the brunt.
That makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Everybody else, they're kind of suspending and transferring. Trooper Proctor's gone. I think he's just the fall guy now that they're just.
That's what I said he was going to be. Remember, I told you he was going to be the fall guy.
So I personally think that's going to be it.
And you better believe they're having conversations, dude. Like, I can't believe I thought you were my friend. I would never do that to me. Why?
Oh, 100%.
I want to hear those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to
hear. Yes. Trooper Proctor saying to the Alberts, like,
Yeah.
I tried to help cover this for you.
Yeah, all that. Because you know that's happening.
Like, you can't tell me that none of them knew how to work a case in this one case.
Dude, it's criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it is criminal. I can't say that, but it looks fishy.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I said, to answer your question, it's like, where do you start?
And the fish ain't fried, darling.
Dar-
That means it's still raw. It's sitting there. That's how bad this
no,
fish
no,
is.
no. Darling. Darling. Russell's saying, yeah, it doesn't look good if the department is that unintentionally incompetent. Absolutely. And
Exactly. That's what I'm
that's why
talking
they're
about.
reopening
It's
they're looking
fishy,
at
and the
all these other
fish ain't
cases.
fried. It ain't cooked.
Oh my God, enough with the food. No, that's why all these other cases that Trooper Proctor worked or Bukaki, all these, they're looking at those, and some of that have not gone to trial
Dude,
yet.
what's up with the Africa? I reminded myself about the ATF agent getting his FBI friend to like let him know how to get rid of his cell phone.
Brian Higgins. That was Brian Higgins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Yep.
that guy tonight. But yeah, that and isn't that, dude? That guy could have cost his friend his job.
I'm sure his friend is.
I was like, dude, I'm never talk. I don't know. I'm not saying he'll never talk to him again. I'm like, he'll never help him again because he probably just thought it was something innocent. You know what I mean? He probably, his FBI friend probably did not have an idea what he really was asking him to do or asking him information about. I would have been
Shelly's in the
pissed off.
chat. Hi, my handsome love, who's in Avatar. Hi,
Hey,
beautiful
babe.
Danny. Hello to everyone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to put the cam back on.
It's just what blows my mind is Brian Higgins is, let me destroy my phone and dump it in 2 different places.
Yeah, exactly.
That will destroy everything. You'd think the police don't
I'm sorry,
have
he's
Karen
not
Reed's phone and can see the messages there.
I'm sorry, he wasn't a D. He's ATF agent. I'm sorry, ATF.
But
dude, like, and he's like an experienced federal agent. He's got like what 20 years or something. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and then again to get his FBI friend who's an analyst, but he's in the data collecting analyst. He's the IT guy or whatever, right? And he probably belongs to a unit, and he could have gotten him in trouble. I mean, in trouble type of thing. Like you know what I mean? Like, his friend probably didn't know what he was. He was just, oh yeah, this or that, right? Type of answer. He had no idea it was he was gonna be outed on it or whatever.
And then it would probably turn into what it did.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, because if they only just sent some flirty texts, like, you went to all this trouble to delete that, like, Shelly, he had to go on Avatar. He said he had to get a drink, but his candle blew out. I mean, we all know the priorities here. Welcome back, Tony Stewart. So that's all for Karen Reed tonight. But man, those 3
How much
things.
How much of your tax money is going down the toilet? $500,000, right?
Let's with the new trial.
Yeah,
probably over that.
And the $78,000 that they're going to give Gary or Henry, what's his name?
Hank Brennan.
Hank.
Well, okay, so the $258,000 from the court.
Yeah, it's over $500,000. That's
we're
like
gonna
500.
have to we're gonna go through this again in January, so it's gonna be again all that extra over.
Oh yeah, so it's gonna definitely hit. Oh, it's gonna go over $1 million.
It's gonna be worse. Guarantee it's gonna be worse.
$1 million, dude.
Yeah, it's just, we'll see. We'll keep y'all posted. Where to go next?
I'm gonna share something with it. I'm gonna share a number in the chat with you real quick, and then I want to see your reaction.
Hey, Chrissy.
Give me a second. Look.
Oh God, I'm terrified. And waiting.
Hold on.
For Christ's sakes. Oh, it's in the
And
private chat.
yeah. Don't read it. I
I'm
just want
not
you to
reading
see
it out
I just
loud.
want you to see the number and look at
Obviously.
look at the number that you're they're gonna spend on your look at that. Look at that.
Mm,
And that's a lot of work. What
mm-hmm,
that number I just showed you, that's a
mm-hmm,
lot of work and a lot of moving parts for that number, right? A lot
mm-hmm.
of moving parts at the highest level, lots of work, and then look at your number. At where it's going to be over $1 million.
Yeah. Well, James
Uh,
Watson guessed correctly. It was 69. It is what. Oh boy. All right. Let's move on to the next. Oh my gosh, there's just so much tonight. I'm like, where do we go? All right. I've been excited to talk about this. And Beckham, I messaged, okay, what was it? The other day I was on
hey,
lunch
Christy.
break and this news broke. And I was just like, oh my God, Beckham. I already started the Google Doc for tonight, for Friday's show. Go look at what just happened. Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone is in court this week. So the jury selection was finalized and opening statements started today.
She ordered 2 bags of chips. I thought that was that made me laugh. I'm sorry. When I
The
read that the other
chips
day,
made you, oh God.
yeah, the chips made me laugh. I don't know because I was remember that saying, all that in a bag of chips.
Yeah.
She's all say it, Danny. She's
No,
all that in a bag of
in a
chips.
bag of chips. Yes, Beckham. You were all that in a bag of chips. So there is video of this. You can find, I first saw it when it broke on Instagram. So then I went immediately, like it came through while I was on lunch. I was like, oh my God. So I went to YouTube to watch it live and I was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Y'all, after tonight's show, do yourself a favor and please go look at this. And what I'm telling you to look at is Sarah Boone's attorney, her 9th attorney, is in front of the judge and he's making a request for Sarah. He basically says that, it's based on Sarah's schedule with being, taken out of the court, then being transferred here for each day for the trial, and then going back. By the time she settles back in, has her shower, so on and so forth, it's late, and she needs to keep her energy up. So they are requesting a specific list of food for her, or snacks, not just like, hey, once in a while, could we get these things? No, this is, we want these snacks, implying basically every day to keep her energy up. And it's
Are you
very
going to go over the
specific.
list? Are you going over the
I'm
list?
reading. Yep.
Okay.
I'm setting the tone. I'm setting the tone. So, but keep in mind, this is the food that is being requested to keep her energy level up. Okay. This attorney she's controlling the shots here because what attorney, again, why is this important? Okay, let me read it. I need to calm down. 2 bags of chips, 2 juice packs, 5 peppermints, not
Like
6.
5 little peppermints, like 5 of them.
That's what I took from that. 5 peppermints, a bag of candy, cookies, or a Pop-Tart. So all of those things. Let me repeat that. 2 bags of chips, 2 juice packs, 5 peppermints, bag of candy, cookies, or Pop-Tart. Becca, when was the last time you had a Pop-Tart?
I mean, it's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They're good though. I mean, they're good. No, don't get me wrong.
They're not good for you, but so I had them as kids. We all had them as kids growing up. And then like, oh my God, probably like 5 or 10 years ago, it was a long time ago. I was food shopping and like I happened to glance and there was like some flavor and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I'll get a box and just try one. And I was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what the hell am I doing?
Now is
That
she
was it.
Hey, now is she a sucker or a cracker?
Oh my God, I don't know. But it's just,
And the reason I'm asking is because with the 5 peppermints, like, is she gonna like be sucking on the candy, like while the proceedings are going on, or is she gonna be like and just start and start cracking them.
Good question. Good question.
Is she a
with
sucker or a
with all
cracker,
the
dude?
with all the facial expressions she makes, that's just going to add to it. But like,
Dude,
so
that
the
would piss me
judge,
off if I was like talking and being all formal in the court.
and you hear the chips, the bag,
You hear the
rustling.
candy cracking like when you're like I can't if me like when I like if what do you call it
Hey,
like you
big
pop
Sky
a
Scotty.
candy or Werther's original, or for your throat the if you're sick, what do you call it, the drops,
Cough drops.
cough drops or whatever. I usually just crunch them. I don't even like. You're supposed to like suck on it, just so that way the whatever. I'm a crunch. I just crunch it. So it's just I want. It would be funny when somebody's just up there, on the talking and presenting something, and you just hear this.
Well, Beckham, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but there's an update. But before I get to that update,
Oh, okay. I'm just
so no. But you make a good point. The judge. So I can't even imagine what oh my God, I have a million thoughts in my head. Her attorney, number 9, was probably thinking like, this is what's important. This is what I'm arguing for my client who's on trial for murder. Okay. So the judge says he would inquire, but make no promises. And that's Judge Michael Kranick. The update we got yesterday, the judge denied her snack requests. He denied the snack request. And he actually said the bagged lunch that you get every day has cookies with it or chips with it or something like that. But no, she wanted all those snacks. And it's like, what? Like, that's not even healthy. And that's to keep your energy up? Like, I don't know. It was just wild that was something live that we were watching. So,
well, I guess you won't be hearing any crunching sounds.
we will not be hearing crunching sounds, but the opening arguments started today. So before that, so what we learned kind of yesterday leading into today, so I know I'm backing up a little bit. So Judge Michael Kranick blocked okay, Beckham, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this, especially at the end. Judge Michael Kranick blocked defense attorney James Owens's, so Sarah's lawyer, blocked him from using enlarged photos of Sarah's injuries that were allegedly caused by the physical abuse she says she received from her boyfriend, Jorge Torres, and that was part of the opening statements. So they couldn't see pictures. However, Attorney Owens will and did discuss the alleged abuse in the opening statements. Sarah will be taking the stand in the trial. She'll be taking the stand because she will have to testify to the claim of self-defense in order to allege the previous abuse that she says she received by Jorge. So that has to be submitted as evidence, so she has to take the stand. This one, Beckham, pay attention to this one. The judge also blocked defense attorney Owens from using a poster board displaying the language of the jury instructions for reasonable doubt. This was because the poster board that he used had outdated language before Florida's reasonable doubt statute was updated earlier this year. That looks so bad.
It does. Well, Jesus.
Did he not prep? But clearly didn't prep correctly. Like you go through all this thing to make a poster and you go to put it up and the judge is like, actually, those are outdated. What the hell?
She don't have a chance.
But we're focusing on the request for the snacks. That was denied.
Yeah.
This is going to be a damn circus.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, I'm telling you, like, it's working out. She hasn't gotten rid of him yet because it's working out to where they somehow, I don't know. And maybe that kind of drew him away from the focus. I'm just trying to make her. I'm
at
trying
this
to figure
point,
out.
he can't back out. Imagine week
No,
3 and
dude,
he's
I'm
like,
telling
I'm
you,
out.
if she fires him, she gets another lawyer. I don't even know what I wouldn't. That would be like number 10 or something, I think, or something. I don't remember, but
Yeah, because he's number 9.
yeah. So
But she's gonna take the stand. Oof, this is
imagine
gonna be
taking the
wild.
stand with a peppermint in her mouth.
Well, so that's not gonna be happening. But it's wild. Like, oh my God. One, it is not. So the judge is the one that goes over to the jury specifically, like the rules and what they need, like the jury needs to look for, what is like the law reasonable. They do all of that. Obviously, yes, the defense and prosecution want to point things out, but if the defense is gonna, I can't believe he made a poster board and like wanted to like instruct the jurors on reasonable doubt and then use outdated language. Like, that just looks so bad. Day 1.
Yeah, it doesn't
Day
look it.
1.
She probably wants to kick him in the nuts.
She thinks she's smarter than everybody else. We've already established that. So it'll be interesting going into next week. But oh man.
That's
Oh
funny.
man. When I saw that, I was like, oh my God.
Have
So
you
we
ever
will
had?
not.
Okay, so I know it's. I'm sorry, real quick. It's been okay. So with the Karen Reed incompetence, and now this competence in this case, since you've been doing this stuff or this, talking about cases, have you seen this much? That's a lot of incompetence in the last. Even it's two times in 2 different cases, but that's even a lot to me. Have you
Yeah.
seen a lot of it like this before?
The Karen Reed one,
Blew your
that
mind.
is
That one just like.
that took over the whole country. But I'm from here, so Boston has always had really corrupt law enforcement, and this just put a spotlight on it. With Sarah Boone, it's different. It's just I think she's like running the show very clearly with this attorney, in my
Yeah.
opinion. We'll
Yeah.
see
Oh,
how the
yeah.
trial unfolds.
That's
But
what I just thought about just a minute ago when I said.
so I wonder how much is incompetence from him versus her saying like, do this or else, do this,
Well, I
do
just
like,
think he probably lost focus because he's just doing whatever she says, type of thing.
yeah. It's just like, I can't believe that it was live and we got to we had to watch him like with the list of snacks and stuff. Like, I'm like, I can't believe this is breaking news right now. It's Sarah. They're focusing on wanting Pop-Tarts, 5 peppermints, not 4, not 6, 5. Like, what the hell?
What
We
the
will
hell?
see.
Hey, Bobby. What the hell?
We will see.
Hey,
Wolf,
Bobby.
yes, that was what Wolf. I actually sent that to a few people. Beckham, remember I sent that to you? Sarah Boone on Nickelodeon, that clip back in the day. She looked
Yeah.
exactly the same. I actually sent to
She
Beckham
should.
twice.
She should say that she got taken advantage of back then by Nickelodeon people.
Stop it. Stop
Could
it.
help her case.
You know what? She's going to say a lot of things on that stand.
Hey, Bobby.
Beckham,
What?
I swear to God. You are unhinged tonight. You are
Paul's in the chat.
unhinged. All right. Y'all can have fun with Paul talking politics. It's fine. So, yeah, we will keep you posted on Sarah Boone. But this is one that if you guys want to watch along on YouTube each day, I really think it's going to be comical and entertaining and worth your while. And I'm not trying to make light of the situation because, Jorge Torres is dead died horrifically. Horrifically, just needs to be served. I think innocent until proven guilty. We'll see. Justice needs to be served, and it needs to be served fast with this. But we'll keep you posted.
How fast?
I think this trial, Where did
Like,
I
how
read
long
it?
is it gonna, like, how long? Yeah.
I think it's only supposed to be a month. Last I heard. We'll see what shit Sarah
I thought she
pulls.
said they were playing some kind of game with the suitcase game.
They were drunk and playing hide and go seek, and that's how she got him in the suitcase. But you can't have it both ways. Oh my God, I went to bed and I forgot he was in there, and then oh my God, in the morning he was dead. I was drunk and I passed out. Well, wait a minute. There's video that you filmed of him. Like, Sarah, let me out. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And now you're saying, well, I did it because I'm a battered woman. Well, which one is it? It can't be both. You've now said that's for the prosecution to rip apart. And I can't wait until they do that.
Damn it, Bobber.
I swear to God. All right. Let's get this next one out of the way. I only talk about him because this is what you guys want.
Who?
Alex Murdaugh.
Oh God.
I know. When I saw breaking news,
This guy
I'm
is
like,
still in
he's
the news.
back?
Oh my God, dude! Netflix jumped on it and made a whole series, and like, oh God, let's already end this guy already.
I will not be watching it, Beckham. That's all you, hun.
No, I did watch it. It was like last year.
I thought you meant another recent one.
No, they jumped on it quick, man, and they just, yeah.
Okay.
I think
y'all know I don't do Netflix with.
I'm surprised they haven't jumped on Karen Reed, the Karen Reed case.
There will be. There's actually a live interview, like or pre-recorded special interview tonight that's going to be airing. I forget what channel.
Oh, okay. I'm just surprised. Yeah, they haven't jumped on the Karen Reed deal, but
But so look at James Watson. I'd jump on Karen Reed. James, you would jump on anything, like if it has a pulse.
Oh man, that damn internet, man, the damn internet on www.girls.com.
I don't know what the hell you just said, but if I get this video taken down, I'll be pretty pissed.
No, I'm just talking about Boomhauer.
So Alex Murdaugh. So the news this week is he reached a settlement in the wrongful death lawsuit from the 2019 boat crash where Mallory Beach was killed. This agreement involves a $500,000 payout from an insurance company an insurance policy that was held on the boat. So for those that don't know what happened, the briefest little explanation, Paul Murdaugh. So Paul is deceased. It was Alex's youngest son. He crashed the boat into a Beaufort County bridge.
I remember that.
The influence of alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, this was back in 2019. At the time of the accident, Paul Murdaugh was found to have a blood alcohol level exceeding 0.28%. Mallory Beach died from the crash, and several other passengers that were on the boat were injured. Witnesses reported that after the crash, at the hospital visits, of course, the Murdaughs, who have a ton of connections, made their way there and basically tried to manipulate accounts of the crash. So at the end of the day, there is now a settlement reached, $500,000 payout from an insurance policy to in regards to Mallory Beach being killed. So little bit, I hate to say the word justice, to say a little bit of justice, because nothing will bring Mallory back. And this was so senseless and didn't have to happen. And the Murdaugh family just got away with so much, but better late than never. Some accountability is now being put in place for them. Too bad it wasn't more.
Didn't the son die?
Yeah. Yep. Paul was one of the ones that Alex murdered. So Paul and his mom. Alex's wife.
I don't think he did it. I think it was a hit and he ordered the hit.
Which still means he did.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean,
we've argued about this or disagreed, shall I say.
But
at the end of the day, Paul Murdaugh, who was the one driving the boat with a 0.28% alcohol level.
Wasn't there other people on the boat too that they just fell out of the boat? She just happened to hit
everybody.
She happened to hit her head or something, and she died.
She got submerged, and she wasn't fat. Like her body resurfaced.
Yeah, because she got knocked out and drowned.
But she died. Everybody else got hurt, but she died. So that's the Alec Murdaugh news. I just want to see where you guys are with. Hey, David, rich people behaving badly. Yeah, I mean, and think about it, at the time they got away with it. We're now in 2024, and there's just, I mean, yeah, they got away with it for a
2 years.
long time. Let's see. Okay, dog, going back to Sarah Boone. I heard he got his hand out of the suitcase and she hit him to make him pull it back in. I have not heard that, K-Dog. Not saying that that's not true. I just have not heard that. But if that's the case, we will hear about it for sure at trial. So, okay. That's it with Alex. So moving on to, oh gosh, there's so much. Oh God, there's so much this week. It was the type of thing where as of Tuesday, I was like, I need to start working on the Google Doc because there's already so much that's happened. So Susan Smith, I actually covered her case way back on an earlier Danny After Dark episode. So go back and check that out. I will do a quick recap in regards to what happened. But again, go back and check out that episode. So we talked about her back on a couple of weeks ago in regards to she's now up for parole. And she reached out to her now ex-husband, so father of the children that she killed, to basically be like, hey, can you help me out here for my parole hearing coming up? Well, back in the news this week, she has been convicted of an internal disciplinary charge. Her parole hearing scheduled for November 4th. Okay, so this is just weeks before. So this will not be good going into her parole hearing. What did she do? According to the South Carolina Department of Corrections, Susan has been convicted of the internal disciplinary charge after speaking with a documentary filmmaker while in prison. Susan agreed to provide the filmmaker with contact information for friends, family, and victims, including her former husband. What a piece of shit.
Wow. Yeah.
The filmmaker also deposited money into Susan's account. According to the SCDC policies, inmates in the custody of the South Carolina Department of Corrections are not allowed to do interviews on the telephone or in person. However, they may write letters. So in regards to a punishment, if you will, as of October 4th, Susan lost her telephone, tablet, and canteen privileges for 90 days. Really? Really? That's the best you can do? I don't see her being released on parole. I don't know if you kind of remember this case, Beckham, but to do this just weeks before, like, really? How smart really? Okay, what's your thoughts?
I mean, we keep going back and forth about the whole, you should know what about the telephone. Like, they're going to keep track of everything. And they just don't ever, I don't know. I don't know what disconnect happens to where they don't realize that. I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, I don't know where that disconnect happens to where, I have my own privacy because I'm here, rather, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's just
monitorization is a thing everywhere, and if you are under a umbrella of legalities, basically meaning if you're involved in something to the sense of, I'm not saying criminal, but how do I put this? If you are subject to be monitored, you're going to be monitored. Even you don't even know. You know what I mean? Like if you could be doing something potentially wrong, you're being looked at. You have no idea you're being looked at. It could, you know what I mean? Like it could
Yeah.
be cell phone, it could be social media now. It could be, video. You're on camera somewhere, right? You could be followed. Somebody could come talk, and somebody you don't even know. Somebody could come up to you at a sandwich shop and tell you, "Oh, look, your sweater looks good on you," and just start a conversation with you, and you're actually talking to somebody in law enforcement. You're talking to a detective, or you're talking to an
Right.
investigator, and you have no idea that what you have. You're being monitored,
Mm-hmm.
and you are game. They are. It's all legal.
Oh yeah. So David Ward
I'm just
adds a good point.
that's kind of my
No,
thing.
you're absolutely right. How many cases, Beckham, have we talked about this
A lot.
where,
That's why I'm like, again, like, oh my god.
and it's actually going to come up in another one that we're talking about tonight too.
Yeah.
But so David Ward, thank you for that recap. So Susan Smith, you beat me to it, drowned her 2 little boys to run away with the lover. Why she didn't get the death penalty, I don't know. So yes, David. So this happened in 94, right? So we're at 2024 now. This is the first time Susan is eligible for parole. She knows what the rules are in regards to, what you can and can't do so that she's eligible. And she decides now is the time to break the rules, to talk to, again, this filmmaker. And yeah, here's the contact information for my ex-husband. Again, I murdered our 2 kids and he's now my ex. But yeah, here's his information. Reach out to him. Family, friends, again, other victims who this impacted a lot of people. We've talked about that when, something happens to one person, there are many victims because it affects so many people. She just 1994 to 2024. Now's the time to do this. What, a month before her parole hearing? What the heck? It's not making sense to me. Can someone explain it, Becca? Make it make
No,
sense to me.
I can't, because it's something that does not make any sense.
Talk do that 20 years ago. Why? Stay stupid. I really hope this bites her in the ass.
You need a shirt that says "Stay stupid."
It's just like, I would be shocked if she went up for parole and they said, "You're good. Go ahead. You're good to go." I don't see that. But this, I really hope is just the nail in that coffin to keep her in jail. But we'll see.
Could
We'll
happen.
see.
That could be the final one that you can just hammer in.
Yeah. So James, it affected a lot of people. She'd most likely be a grandmother by now. It's just those 2 little boys. Go divorce your husband and go off with the other guy. You don't want the kids. Leave them with your ex. People are just so selfish. I can't even with her. But
I can't with
so
her.
Beckham, I'm like,
Yes.
what should we talk about next? What should we talk about?
Your boys in LA.
The what brothers?
Oh God. Menendez.
Ding, ding, ding. Yes. So what we learned in the last week.
You thought I was crazy when I said they could walk. Y'all were like, no, they just can't walk out.
Oh, I do still think you're crazy, but you had a point.
Yeah, they can walk out. Or they might be able to walk out.
So this announcement was made on October 3rd. So I know that's not technically this week, but bear with me. Los Angeles DA George Gascon made an announcement that his office is reviewing the conditions of the Menendez brothers, so Lyle and Eric, to determine whether they should be resentenced and potentially released. This hearing has been scheduled for November 26th. So there's been a lot now. The Menendez brothers are back in the spotlight. There's been new documentaries being put out, but there's also been a lot of information that's come out that was not allowed at their trial, first one, or the retrial.
You told me you didn't believe any of it.
I'm not giving my opinion right now. I'm just saying this is what's been presented and why they're looking to either resentence or let them out. I think there's a good chance they're going to be either resentenced or let go, most likely let go.
And you can attribute that to Netflix and Milli Vanilli.
Okay, y'all, I don't really talk about like off-air like private conversations, but Beckham has been blowing up my phone about Milli Vanilli.
This is your fault, Dan. This is all your fault.
My fault.
You're the one that put them on the map. You put them on
I
the
did
map.
not put Milli Vanilli
Netflix
on the map.
saw your show. They're like, hey, you should do a doc series. Bam, and it's now completely blown up to where if you host a YouTube channel and you're doing it live, you can no longer play Milli Vanilli because you'd be whatever, docked for it.
Copyrighted
For it.
yeah,
Now it's because they're back. As like a month ago or 2 months ago, you could have just played all their songs. Nobody would have cared.
Oh gosh, Milli Vanilli has been.
Girl, you know it's true.
Stop it! You sing it. I don't want this taken down. It's just, I see every side to this. I think, can two things be true at once? Yes. Could they have been sexually abused by their father? And could they have purposely murdered their parents and everything that happened after that occurred? To me, that speaks volumes. It's the actions after. Like, this was not in the heat of the moment, self-defense, whatnot. I can't get over the reactions after. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Do you think they're going to get out or resentenced?
I honestly think they will just open the door and they'll walk out. They'll be first, and Scott Peterson will be second.
I will say, Beckham, I'll give you this. Don't make me regret this.
And then you're going to be like, a year from now, you're going to be like, Beckham, you're always right. And you were right about the red coats. And you were right about the brothers, Menendez brothers. And I could not believe you were right about Scott Peterson. Oh my God.
No. If Lyle and Eric Menendez were released, I personally don't feel they're a risk to society. I really don't.
Oh, get off of it. Scott Peterson would not go commit another murder.
Scott Peterson would most definitely be a risk to society.
No, dude.
100%. I stand by that.
How can you say that?
Look at everything he did. Like,
it was a love triangle, if anything.
I'm allowed to feel that I think
it was just a love triangle.
You know what?
Freaked out.
2 houses on either side.
I'm not saying trust me, I know what he did was bad or whatever he's convicted of. But it basically was just like a love triangle, that type of thing. It wasn't like he wasn't the I was gonna call him the panty killer, the lady of the dark killer, and over there in New Jersey, what's that guy's name with his wife and kid would take a trip and he'd go kill
Rex Heerman, the Gilgo Beach.
There you go. Yeah, he's not that guy. Come on, dude.
Shelly, I like oh God. Okay. 2 houses on either side of me. Put Lyle Menendez in one, Eric in the other. I feel safe. I feel fine. I honestly feel fine. Put Scott Peterson a mile down the road. I don't like it. I'm at risk.
Put who? Wait, what did you say? Put somebody. Okay, now you're getting East Coast, West Coast. What are you talking about?
Oh, for Christ's sakes. Christ's sakes.
What are you talking about? Well, you're like one side or the other side. I was like, wait, are you talking about Diddy and Tupac?
Oh no, we have not. We have not cracked into what is the Denny news of this week yet. But I don't think, yeah, Scott's a whole nother thing. Let's just not even go down there. He's a piece of shit.
I'm just making this show for you. That's all.
You're making it something. You're making it something.
I got you to say East Coast, West Coast out of it.
All that plays in my head is Auntie Deb that says, Danny, you're too mean to Beckham. And I'm like, Auntie Deb, no, I'm not. I'm going to message him tonight and be like, did you see the show? Watch the show. Do you still think I'm mean to him and it's not deserved?
How does he feel about Scott Peterson?
I
don't have all the evidence in front of me anyway, because I remember I wasn't watching TV back then. I didn't know anything about anything back then.
Me and him, we have not discussed Scott Peterson.
That would be an interesting conversation for you all to have at one point.
Okay, noted. All right, Menendez brothers. So me and Beckham both agree that we think they might be released. So again,
and I want you to say, Beckham, you were kind of right that they could just walk out the door.
Beckham, you were kind of right on that one. On the Menendez brothers.
Thank you.
I'll give you that. So this hearing again has been scheduled for November 26th. I don't know. Again, this is LA, so out of my kind of level of expertise in regards to how long then it takes for a decision to be made. And then we do know once a decision is made, even if it's okay, they can go, they're not just released that day. There's,
Oh, I know. I'm just saying,
But I would just hopefully like to know how.
I'm sorry, real quick about the Menendez brothers. Real quick, a family, and I saw this the other day. I'm sorry, one of the family members came out and said, and I'm pretty sure it's probably I don't know which family member. I can only associate probably because they said, do not let them go free. So I could see it might have been like a cousin, somebody in relation to one of the victims. You know what I mean, like a brother or cousin or something. That
And they said, don't let them.
Yeah, they said do not let them out. Yeah.
Interesting.
I just didn't go into the article and see which family member said that. So, but just to me, from the tone of the introduction of the article, it's like somebody close to one of the victims, right? Like a brother or a sister or a cousin or something like
that. There's been breaking news actually while the show's been going on, and that is Shelly saying, I'm not mean enough to you.
Oh, God.
So, Auntie Deb, I'm just going to have a
Dude, you don't have to be mean to me. If we, when we come visit you in early next year, your weather is going to
it's going to kick your ass enough.
I know, exactly. You don't have to be mean to me when the weather, Massachusetts weather is going to knock me out.
Oh boy. You shivering your teeth. Sometimes it's so cold, your teeth chatter and you go, Danny, be a dog.
Now I did live through that Texas freeze. So that kind of got me.
No, we're not going there. Me and Paul still make fun of you for that.
Dude, it was -2 degrees. How cold do you want it to be?
That's like another day here. I don't know.
That was -2. I didn't have no power. You got to sleep in your own little bed, all warm and cozy when it's -2. I had no power, nobody to talk to, just the wall, no covers for 2.5 days. It was like a military operation. It was like training, some sort of military ops training, because it was hell, dude.
What your state went through was bad, and y'all are not braced for that.
And trust me, when there's no power, around you in the streets and everything is out, it's apocalyptic. It's not just there's a little bit of light over there and a little bit of light over there. It's a different kind of dark when there's no There was no power around you for like miles. That's a different feeling.
Oh no, it sucks. It
It's
totally
apocalyptic,
sucks.
dude. It's like you're waiting for like a zombie to come out or something. You know what I mean? Like it's like The Walking Dead seasons 1 and 2. Remember how you were seasons 1 and 2? You were on the edge of your seat. You know
Oh,
what I'm talking
Team
about?
Shane, yeah.
That's what it felt like. You're on the edge. You're like, what? You know, you're like, holy crap. Yeah,
I love
it
how
was
you're like
different.
saying this as though nobody else watching here, nobody else in the chat has lost their power or their area
No, I'm
has
not
lost their
talking about you lose your power. You can go to your friend's house across the street, or you have your spouse to talk to. I'm talking about apocalyptic, no power across cities, and you have nobody to talk to but yourself.
Tony Stewart, Beckham, Shelley, and Danny in the same bed trying to stay warm. I'm just gonna let that one go, Tony, but you have been put on notice, I'll tell you that. It got so cold, Beckham had to light 30 candles for warmth. I think that is a fair statement. Beckham, no, it sucked what your state went through. The comment me and Paul will like laugh at is when, and again, we talk about this on camera over at Mantha and Saga, so like I'm not like outing private conversations, is when you basically say, like, oh, I had to like brush snow off my tire. I finally get what you guys go through with the snow. And we're like, hun. Oh, but anyway. How the hell did we even get to this?
I don't know.
Let's just move. All I know is Menendez, Scott Peterson, snow. I don't know.
Well, I thought you had breaking news.
Yes, that Shelley says I'm not mean enough to
That's
you.
what started. Okay. I was like, go over the breaking news real quick while I go use the restroom.
Yeah, that was it. So, all right, I'll move on to the next one. And it's just a brief update. There will be so much more next week. Y'all in the chat, you guys already started talking about it, and a few of you posted about it when me and Beckham first went live earlier. So we're here now. And my apologies if my voice is a little raspy tonight. It's definitely changing of the seasons. It's now officially colder here and more steady cold. So everybody here is kind of getting sick and whatnot. And I definitely feel it myself. So my apologies on that. So Delphi, Richard Allen, jury selection is complete. And actually opening statements began today. So to me, the kind of standout moments in regards to today were and I was kind of waiting what the defense versus the prosecution was going to say. Obviously, one of the big things that was brought up was Richard Allen has confessed to murdering Abby and Libby. He's not confessed just once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4, not 5. It's been almost 60 times he's confessed to various people. So that is damning. And some of these confessions have been over the phone, again, to his wife, other people. Again, like me and Beckham talked about earlier, prison phone calls are recorded. Now, the prosecution is obviously really trying to push. He's confessed to this 60 times. The defense is, as of today, again, they were going to try to cut this off at the pass. I wonder what it's going to be like with the jury. They're saying that Richard Allen made all of those confessions while he was under stress, under the stress of being in jail and so on and so forth. Do with that what you will. I think we could all have probably a whole hour conversation just on that alone. Like, sorry, but if I'm sitting in a cell, I'm not, and for a crime I didn't do, I'm not confessing, let alone confessing to multiple people, adding up to about 60 times confessing. But that's just me. Prosecutors described some of the gruesome details about the murders that have been thus far withheld from the public. I actually did hear some of this information through a while ago, through when you go to CrimeCon, you network, so on and so forth. I'll leave it at that. I'd heard rumblings about this, but today it was officially said. So I was like, okay, the rumblings that we were discussing were in fact true. Was that Abby and Libby, the girls did have both of their throats slit.
Oh
And
my God.
investigators, Libby was
Ugh.
found naked, covered in blood. We did know one of the girls, it leaked,
Wait. Oh, wait.
was found naked, but in
Wait,
regards
did
to
you know this already? Is this like new news?
this came out today officially.
Whoa.
I'd heard rumblings through CrimeCon connections
Wow. Are you
about the
serious?
throats being slit,
So you had heard
but
through
I
like,
never would say it on air. I
so
never
you
would say
had
it on air.
you heard estimated evaluated statements about it?
I heard crime scene information,
Wow.
but it was rumblings, kind of just,
Whoa.
oh, have you got, this is what we're hearing. And
Oh
again,
man,
I
dude.
never said it on, and I will not say who was a part of that conversation. That's not
But this is
happening.
official.
Mm-hmm.
Who put this out?
Prosecutors today during
Wow.
opening
So
statements.
they're getting serious now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey
So they
man.
confirmed the
Yeah.
girls, Abby and Libby's
Hey,
throats were slit.
just like they're putting stuff out, the U.S. government's gonna put stuff out on somebody here and down the road. Just right before.
Hold
No, I'm
on,
just
let's
saying
not
that's a
tie
move right
them.
there. No, that's a move. And the fact that it's interesting that you heard what you heard, because you tend to keep this really, you have this sealed, man, because it's like a strategy. It's a strategy, right? And you're holding it, and then boom, you release it, and you release it for various reasons. One, you want it to get out there, you want the right people to hear it, and then the magnitude of it, right? And then just to really give sort of a stepping stool for you to get above everything else, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. But the fact that it was sealed, supposed to be kept tight-lipped, but you heard about it. It's kind of a little crazy.
And I never even told you. I told no one.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have known who. I mean, I would have. I mean, I would have definitely remembered with this information. I would have been able to put it together in my head and remember the case. You know what I mean? Like, it was, to me, it's one of those other cases, just kind of going through it.
Yeah.
But now with this new information, had you told me this, I would have been like, oh, it would have stuck out to me. See,
Yeah.
there you go. That's the whole strategy they're doing. Now it's gonna stick in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of those when we were the people who were engaged in this conversation at CrimeCon. I was like, oh my God. Kept my mouth shut. I kept my mouth shut for as long as I did. I will not say which CrimeCon it was discussed, whether it was Orlando or Nashville, will not say. But
yeah, like Tony
again,
Stewart in the chat says he would have paid money. He's into the case, and he said he would have paid money for the info. Wow.
It's just, now we're going to be hearing everything. And even what we heard today in opening statements, there's going to be so much more in regards to this. I just feel so bad for the families of these two young girls that have to sit here. I mean, they've waited a long time for this trial and a long time for there to possibly be justice in this for their children, their loved one, their sister, daughter, niece, so on and so forth. But they're going to have to listen to a lot of horrific things, and that breaks my heart. But to me, this was the stuff that I heard today during opening that I was like, okay, I want to make note about and talk about. Some of the other things I was like, okay, we've already heard, and nothing really stood out to me besides that. But
right.
We'll see. I know some of you guys in the chat are commenting on this. Let's see. About time, Delphi. I told you I'd get to it. hair in the hand of one of the girls wasn't Alan's. That's one of the things that I did hear earlier this week, Tony. But I'm sure that will come up during the trial. But K-Dog, the investigation is poor. 2 murdered girls found on Ron Logan's property, and it took a month to get a search warrant. Right. K-Dog, is this close to, oh, this is close to you. K-Dog, I did not know that. Okay, I saw a recent video of the bridge that the girls were walking on, and they have it closed off now. Yeah, they do. Some of it's actually been repaired since this incident happened. If that is him in that girl's video, that is tough to ignore. It seemed like they were trying to get away and he was stalking them. Yes. The accused age doesn't just decide one day to be a monster. He's had some experience. I completely agree. Yeah, Tony, he's admitted to this 60 times. Not all has been on recorded phone lines from prison though, but several. So this is going to be one of those trials that's going to be really hard, I think, for a lot of people, because it involves 2 young girls.
If he gets convicted and goes to prison, he's not going to last long anyway.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, the trial just opening statements were today. This is going to be one of those high media covered cases. So if this is something where you guys are interested in this case and following along, by all means. And I know I've said this before in other episodes. And there are some of you that do message me like during the week before, the Friday night, True Crime and Chills with Beckham, that if there is a case you're following, some of you will message me, but did you just see this? And by all means, certainly send me a DM, the Danny After Dark on Instagram, or the Danny After Dark at gmail.com. If you're like, oh my gosh, it's Tuesday, this just happened, Danny, we need to talk about it. Shoot me a message, send me an email. I'm more than happy, because I like to talk about this stuff, and there's gonna be a lot. And other than that, we'll update you guys next week. Is this Beckham? I was going to say, there's a lot of trials going on right now. Is there any that you're focusing on right now that are active right now? Like I could see you watching the Sarah Boone one just because it's going to be a shit show. No, I got you hooked on Karen Reed, and is that in that lane?
The world is going to be watching the Diddy one, but the Karen Reed one is just interesting because it's more of a, I was watching it for more of the strategies, how it played out type of thing, and I just want to see what kind of the Karen Reed one this time around. I want to see if what's his name? Gary. Hank Brennan. Hank Brennan is makes a difference in this case, because it's going to be again, it's strategy. I kind of want to see how it plays out, and I want to see if his if he does make a difference. That to me is what's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Well, a lot can still happen from now to January, and obviously the defense and the ACLU are trying to.
And it's going to go forward. They've paid. There's been too much money spent on this already, so it's not. I was thinking, well, maybe it might not happen. Maybe something they're like, oh no, well, it's done, it's dismissed. Everybody move forward. Karen Reed can then focus on the civil stuff that's coming after her. But no, there's been too much money spent now, dude. It's gonna go forward. It's gonna happen. Right? I mean, there's too much money now.
That's the way it's looking. Yeah. Shockingly. So there's another case that I have on here, but I think we'll I don't know. We'll see. We'll save that for last and see where we go. But why don't we
Which
get
one?
to Diddy, if that's all right?
Man, for the Diddy thing.
Lot this week. Go for it.
Well, I still went and kept going with the Diddy Tupac connection because okay, now I have reason to believe because I've learned more information that maybe he did put the hit on Tupac. And there's a lot of other information I've learned. Um, and it's something that the US government could be holding in their back pocket. So, with I always forget this guy's name. Give me a second. The guy that was arrested and formally charged. Keefe D. He's the one he was the one that was arrested for. Yeah, they have all these names. So Kiffy D, yeah, he's the one that's right now his trial's gonna start. But yeah, man. So I've spent a lot more. I went more digging, and there's a lot of information. Last week I brought you guys the kind of a historical.
Oh,
kind
you
of
sure
of
did.
how it
how it transpired.
How it all how this from the start, how it all became, you know. East Coast, how they got started, West Coast got started, Death Row and all that, right? So, of course, now with Diddy, the thing with Diddy is that I learned that, and his bodyguard, his ex-bodyguard, has been telling all for like 20 years. Did you know that?
I did not know.
Yeah, his bodyguard that was there through 97. And his story has not changed. He wasn't a police officer. He was a, what do you call it? A court, like juvenile, one of those juvenile juvenile people that help the kids. What do you call them? Anyway,
Probation?
probation,
No.
he was kind of like that. So he did the bodyguard thing, kind of thing for Diddy. He's been telling the same story since 1998. He has not been his bodyguard for that long. So I've gone back and I've read about him. I've researched him. And so remember, so Tupac was gonna leave death row, right? And the reason I'm talking about the Tupac case is because I think it's gonna be vital. It's something that the US government is gonna hold on Diddy because I believe what's gonna happen and what's been happening, I believe, as remember, he's been paying a lot of these these people that are filing cases against him. Some of them have probably been paid off. Now, when he goes to trial, they're probably going to be like, "Hey, man, or before that, we can get his lawyer. He's got like 6 lawyers. He's got like 5 or 6 lawyers already,
He
right?
can afford
He's
it.
got his team, and for different things, for different charges, right? So each lawyer is specified for these different charges. And there might be like, hey man, there's nothing you could do on this charge. We might be able to plead down on this one if you take this. So anyway, the whole thing for Diddy's, I think they're gonna have enough. They're gonna go with the life thing, but they might be able to come lower to say, hey, at least he'll spend like 10, 12. You remember I was telling you the number's about 12. That's the number, 10 to 12, anywhere from 7 to 12 years in prison, right? So that's probably what's going to happen. Now, the U.S. Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York, I think they're going to go with the hammer, man. I mean, they're going to go for the life sentence, right? That's what they want. And I think that they want to hold the Pac murder here, like on the side. And I'll get to that here in a second because there's a lot of information that I found out about that, again, that I didn't know. And I spent a lot of time really for last week's show more on how both, it all started, right?
Yeah.
And ended up at the East Coast, West Coast thing. Anyway, so, and just 2 days ago, there's been reports coming out that Justin Bieber has really closed himself off from his inner circle. And I'm talking like 6 to 8 people here, because he feels he wasn't protected. And I think people have, and this is kind of crazy, but I think people around him want him to come forward and talk about if anything happened with Diddy, because there's a lot of speculation that, you know, he was
Oh, there is a lot of
right. A lot
speculation.
of speculation. I'm not going to say anything about that, but I'm just saying
He's
there's
a
a
new
lot of,
father,
there's a
so
lot of
it's
speculation out there about that kind of thing. He might have been groomed and all that kind of stuff. And I think some people have really come forward to him and saying, you could be that mark. You could be the one that really puts the nail in this coffin, you know, the nail in this coffin on this case, right? Can you imagine if he did that? It would really you wouldn't need Pac's murder. You wouldn't need anything like that. But I'm telling you, this Pac thing is going to be on the side, and I'll get to that here in a second. But yeah, I mean, so this is telling to me that he's closed off his inner circle, and I'm not just talking about like, I'm talking about his close people, like family and friends, like his inner circle. He's completely shut them down, shut them out, and the reason being, why didn't they protect him? Why didn't, and that's to me, that's like, wow, somebody must be like really making him, coming at him like, you could be the mark, you could be the one that puts him away, you could be the one that puts him away for life. Whatever his testimony, his story, whatever, right? But what about, would he be willing to do that? Would he be willing to put himself out there? Would he be willing, if anything did happen, what
yeah.
that would what that would cause, could cause other kind of thing, right? But
Yep.
but that to me right there was telling, just a couple of days ago about that. Now back to Diddy's excuse me, back to Diddy's lawyer. I'm sorry, not lawyer, bodyguard. Now what was interesting is that I learned, and this guy's really like, man, he seems like a really put well together guy. He's already like in his 60s. Of course, this was a long time ago, but he's like, no, man, you need to treat people the right way. You need to do right by the people. You need to be a man. He's one of those respected elder guys types, right? And he talked about, and I'm gonna have to bring in Biggie here a little bit, because of the Biggie case, because of course it deals with Diddy. So Biggie Smalls, Biggie Smalls. Anyway, so they were the weekend that the week that they went to LA, the weekend that Biggie was murdered, 1997, right? 6 months after the Pac murder. There was he talks about his bodyguard. Let me get his name real quick. His bodyguard, his name is Gene Deal. So Gene Deal talked about, he had gotten information about possibly, hey man, he got the warning, do not come to LA. You guys, there's a hit. People are coming after you guys if you come out here. So do not come to LA. So he tried telling, he went and told the entire story. He broke it down how it all went down, how he told Diddy, he's like, hey man, we shouldn't go to LA. If we go to LA, we need extra security. We need to hire extra security. And Diddy's like, no, he blew him off. He's like, when he blew him off, he was an asshole about it, right? And he's like, I'm telling you, man, we need extra security. It's not right, this and that. He kept telling him, and he blew him off. They got on the plane. They're flying. Of course, he said, hey, it's a 6-7. Danny, you've flown to LA. You know how long the flight is. And he's like, yeah, it's like 6.5 hour flight.
Mm-hmm.
And he was an asshole to me. And I just sat in the back of the plane. And what he didn't know was there was a contract right there. The contract was sitting in a case right next to him that he had just gotten Biggie to sign. And remember, I told you how Death Row was not paying Tupac, how they were paid him. And I told you that, guys, last week, how after he died, they took away the cars, the houses. Death Row took everything back. Remember, I told you guys that?
Mm-hmm.
They owed Pac money and they never paid him right. And the same thing, he was like, this is when it started to unravel for him, or really see. He knew that Diddy, he could be an asshole. Like, he could be like, yell at people and degrade people and not be right by people, not pay them what he owed them, that kind of thing. And at the time that this was happening, Diddy did not have the Rockefeller line of credit, if you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I mean, I was thinking about a way how to put that. He did not have the line of credit, the Rockefeller line of credit type of money, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Okay?
I figured.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he didn't have that kind of money that he has now, right? So that he was, so anyway, for those 6.5 hours, he's sitting there reading the contract. He's like, I had nothing else to do. So I read the entire contract, and he knew he was ripping off Biggie big time. And that in the contract, it said, we will revisit, like Biggie was asking for, like he felt he was owed about, at that time, he felt he was owed about 10 million in the contract. But it said, no, we're in the contract. He's like, no, we're not going to pay you. We got to figure some stuff out. We'll revisit this later. And he signed it. So it was official. So he was going to rip him off again. I mean, he wasn't paying him. And so he started to see kind of how Diddy was. He's like, wow, it really blew him, because at 6.5 hours, he read the entire contract. Anyway, so he had that in the back of the mind. So anyway, they go to LA, and then history happens, right? The whole murder thing happens and all of that. So it kind of gave me a sense learning that I mean, last week I kind of knew that he wasn't paying it, but like learning this really put it to where, you know, I was like, wow, it was eye-opening. Like I was like, man, he really was screwing people over since back then, right? And remember, I told you Pac was gonna leave Death Row. Biggie was gonna leave Bad Boy. So you know, he was gonna leave Bad Boy. He was gonna do his own thing. I mean, these guys could have been, you know what they could have been. They were already considered some of the best of all time, right? I mean, they were so young. But anyway, so after the death of Biggie Smalls, hold on, let me go back to my papers. So let's see. So right after Biggie, of course, the murder of Biggie, Bad Boy puts out his album, the second album, Life After Death, right?
Yeah.
Now it was released on March 25th, 1997 by Bad Boy Records and Arista Records, and it was a double album, and it was released 16 days after his murder. And it had collabs with I don't know who this 112, Jay-Z, Lil Kim, Mace, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Too Short was on there, DMC, Run DMC, R. Kelly was on there. Of course, Puff Daddy had that song on there. Now, you're talking about a huge difference, because that record alone, so basically Diddy went from having, like, let's just say, check this number out, and this is a true number. When they released that, and it was all Bad Boys, all the money. Guess who got all the money? All of it. Diddy did. But yeah. So he went from having about 1.5. Remember I told you, I was making the joke that he didn't have that Rockefeller line of credit. Well, he went from 1.5 million about-ish to over 160 million in less than a year.
Oh my God. Beckham, that's wild.
Yeah, and I'm talking about 1997. That's like all of a sudden, in less than 10 months, you have almost like Jerry Jones money. Jerry Jones is the owner, not that, but I'm just making a joke. You go from like nothing to like Jerry Jones money. That's insane. And it was all him. It was all Bad Boy, dude. All of it. And of course Arista, but yeah, they got their cut. But do you see what I'm saying? At this point, he now has Rockefeller line of credit. Okay.
Beckham, what year was that?
1997. Yes.
How much?
Album,
he went from 1 million to
1.5. He went from being worth 1.5 million to over 160 million. So that's pretty big there. Okay.
so I just checked the inflation calendar.
Yeah.
So that's the equivalent of today, 160 million, 314 million, 318.
That's a lot of money in about 10 months.
753.
Yeah. Right. That's a lot of money within like 10 months. So in a matter of 16 days, he put this whole they went to work, man, he put it out, and he had complete control of it. Complete control of it. He made all that money. But I'm kind of going off on like you know, yeah, they were still doing, it was they were still to Shelly's comment. Snoop Dogg talked about. I kind of got in there with the whole Crips and Bloods. Yeah, they became Snoop. I just saw a video of a Snoop Dogg. He's like, yeah, man, Suge Knight threw me in there with a bunch of Bloods, and they actually became my homies. They became my best friends. He named the guys like Shorty D, and they have these funny names, right? These nicknames. So yeah, so it's funny because Snoop Dogg talks about Suge Knight throwing him in a room with a bunch of Bloods, and Snoop Dogg was a Southside Compton Crip or whatever you want to call him. So he's like, yeah, these guys became my friends. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Hate them? No, they became my best friends. He named up like about 4 or 5 Bloods that they became really good friends to this. Well, I don't know if they're still alive, but they were, I'm saying like, they became friends, right? So it's just kind of funny to Shelly's comment there. But anyway, yeah, so I'm trying to just kind of give you guys a picture of Diddy. So now let's go back to the Pac murder and why it's vital here that the government could be holding on to this one. And remember, we just talked about the family is now wanting to like look into the murder of possibly they want to have a case on Diddy that he ordered the hit on Tupac and all that.
And this is, I just want to add back, this is not just like people on the internet running wild with like, oh, maybe he's tied to this.
No. This is all this is all official government.
This is a big deal.
This isn't conspiracy. This is real.
Right.
Okay. Right. And again, I found out more information I did not know. And again, the information I presented last week, yeah, man, they had to clean house. They brought in some good detectives. Those detectives that ended up going into the gang wars and all that kind of stuff. So after Pac's murder, 10 days after Pac's murder, there was a war between the Bloods and there was a war because they thought it was an initial hit, right, or whatever, on Tupac. So, and in those 10 days, there was probably about anywhere, I don't remember the exact number, but maybe like 10 deaths, 10 murders, something like that. Gang related, of course, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've heard this is one of the best quotes I've ever heard as far as, and I got it from one of the detectives about that I've ever heard as far as like murders and stuff, and it was deal with the Pac case. And I had to write it down because I would forget it, but he was like, when a murder happens in hell, you have no angels for witnesses.
Ooh.
And I was like, holy shit. I was like, that's freaking good. I was like, yeah, because he was talking to
what a line.
That is a line. And that came from a seasoned gang task force detective guy. Now,
can you say that again?
Now retired. He's not retired. But he said, when a murder happens in hell, you have no angels for witnesses. And he's talking about the Pac murder.
Yeah.
Now you have, and what he meant by hell is you have everything that Death Row came up from and everything that, Diddy had over here, it made it out to be the East Coast versus West Coast thing, right? Now, again, Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, this is what I've come now to find out. So he was the shot caller for the Southside Crips. So he was a Southside Crips. Okay, that's what Snoop Dogg is. Okay, and I think I talked about this whole Snoop Dogg. Did I talk about that last week? About
how
Snoop? Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And the whole radio thing, and how Pac's security team was told not to carry, and they thought that was weird, and the whole
Yeah.
radio communication. And I that's what kind of led me to speculating that it was inside, not outside. And I was like, I don't think Diddy. But now there's a lot more where it really looks to Diddy, and where the U.S. government, and what I mean by the U.S. government, I'm talking about the U.S. Attorney's Office, the South Side, the Southern District of New York, okay, or whatever. I know there's all these names. I'm just telling you what this guy is. He was a Crip. It doesn't matter. They wore the blue, okay, red and blue, okay. So red and blue.
Don't piss him off, Beckham. Get it right. Don't piss him off.
So Kiffy D ends up, and he did this, okay? He told police that he was offered $1 million to kill death row rapper Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight, and it's official. And I'll get to here where it's official. So former Los Angeles Police Department Detective Greg Kading revealed, and this guy's been on a lot of shows and he's wrote in a book, that LAPD has been sitting on extensive tapes and documents containing confessions from key players on the alleged assassination of Shakur and Biggie. But I'm forget the Biggie thing. I'm talking about Tupac. Okay. The higher ups, anyway. Kading he's now retired, and because he's wrote a book. Now this is where remember last week when I talked about this is where it gets interesting. So remember last week where I talked about, it was funny that, and this goes back to the line that I talked about. Everybody, it happened in Las Vegas. Las Vegas Police Department started. Of course, it's on their turf. It's on their jurisdiction. After a few weeks, they bounced out, right? Remember I told you that? They technically bounced off, and they couldn't get anybody to give any information. Suge Knight didn't say anything. They asked Suge Knight, what happened? Well, we already know all that. We already know all that. I mean, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about why Tupac got shot. I'm talking about this other thing. But yeah, that Anderson kid, that was his nephew. That's Kiffy D's nephew that was in the car. So anyway, he's now deceased, and I'll get to that here in a second too. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so remember, Las Vegas Police Department did not. After a couple weeks, they were like, "Hey, we're out," And it's funny because it goes back to LAPD, and the whole transformation of the dirtiness of the police and all that kind of thing, right? But going back to this Kading guy who's now retired, he had a major drug case on Kiffy D Davis. Okay, so LA Weekly actually was giving full review of all this information like 10-15 years ago on this stuff, right? So Kiffy D says that P Diddy in a confession, and I'll get to this, what this confession was and why. Now remember, they had Kiffy D for this major drug charge on a major drug case, and he had the ability to give a confession on the Pac thing. So he stated, and he confessed and saying that Sean, P Diddy Combs, whatever, took him downstairs, and he was like, quote, "Man, I want to get rid of them dudes." I was like, "Well, we'll wipe their ass out quick. It's nothing." And that they wanted $1 million for the hit. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So, of course, in the confession, Kiffy D also told the police that on the night that they killed, supposedly that Tupac died, he placed himself in the passenger seat of the white Cadillac. Of course, that his Anderson was in the car with him, right? And it's always been that Anderson's, they went Orlando Anderson, Bobby Lane Anderson is the one that, yes, he's the one that got beat down in the MGM Grand Lobby. And he was supposed to be for the chain thing, and that you know, there was a retaliation on that kind of thing, right? And after the murders, Orlando, three of the Crips, it was Orlando. Kiffedy didn't really talk about it, but Orlando Anderson was like not showboating, but like arrogantly talking about how he was the one that did it. And it did he do it, or did Kiffedy do it? Right? It's one of those types of things.
I'll just be back in 1 second. Keep
Okay.
going. Keep
Yeah.
going.
So anyway, so it was just like, but on tape, Kiffedy tells that he told the detective Katie during that confession that his nephew leaned over, and that Orlando Anderson rolled the window down and shot him like however many times, and that's what he confessed to. Now, there's there's two twists here that I did not know about. So, Suge Knight's girlfriend, Teresa Swan, under the custody of the FBI, also confessed that, hold on, let me go over my notes real quick. She had confessed that she ends up tying Suge Knight and the Bloods to Biggie's murder. Under the jurisdiction of the FBI, she tells that one of this specified hitman, and just to find the hitman, it cost $25,000. That Suge Knight paid $25,000 to find the right hitman within their circle. So Teresa Swan gives this confession to the FBI under FBI jurisdiction. You know, they had her. So she ends up telling on Suge Knight and the Biggie murder, right? So they kind of collab together, and they're kind of putting all this thing together here, right? So yeah, so she goes ahead and tells, she broke down in tears under FBI jurisdiction on record that Suge Knight gave her $25,000 to pay Wardell Pucci Faust, one of their fellow members of the Mob Peru's Bloods, and that's who the gang of the Bloods were associated with, right? Anyway, so you have this Teresa Swan collabing almost, and kind of putting it to where, yeah, it matches this and that on the Biggie murder, and then they have KFD over here talking, kind of putting it all together on the Pac hit. Now, what's interesting, this is the kicker here. So, and that LAPD detective Kading, he had built. I mean, yeah, he had this big drug case on Keefe D. Davis, and it got him to actually do this proffer agreement. And what the proffer agreement does is he cut a deal on the drug charge on this drug case, to where that if he were to tell the truth about another case, that it could not come back on him. Okay, so it could not come back on him. So he got him to talk. This proffer agreement is what made Kiffy D tell about the murder of Tupac. That's the kicker I didn't know about, and that Suge Knight, and that's the kicker, right? So that basically they had this, and this guy's been now arrested and charged, and it's going to have his case here start, this Kippy D guy on the Tupac murder. Okay, so back in 2006, so I don't know how many years ago that was, they had him on this big drug charge. They say this detective kind of got him on this proffer agreement to tell all about one case, and you won't be pretty much, it'll protect you from another case. And he got him to tell all about the Pac murder. Now, here's where the twist comes in. Could the U.S. government be able to say, man, that was a different jurisdiction? You're not, or I'm sorry, Las Vegas. I'm not talking about the U.S. government. I'm talking about forget because he's now with the Las Vegas. He's got this case with the Las Vegas Police Department arrested him and charged him with the murder of Tupac. So they did not know when they were actually looking into this case like 10 years ago. They didn't know that he had this agreement with LAPD, so it pissed them off, and they hate this LA detective guy. They're like, why didn't you tell us? Why were you not truthful with us? Why didn't you let us know your strategy? Because they were blindsided by this agreement. Okay, but now they're probably, while they held off. This is where it gets interesting, because now you're talking about, remember how when they arrested him, how they were like, oh my God, what evidence do they have, right? What evidence do they have to finally bring the killer of Tupac, right? And they might have been looking for a loophole to get around this what do I call it, proffer? Yeah, this proffer agreement. Okay, this is where that's the kicker here. So because it's now you're in a different jurisdiction, they're looking at that, and now they might have be able to get over that and then that's what propelled them to finally formally charge him and arrested him back in October, a year ago, right? October of 2023, and his case is set to start. So I had no idea about any of this confession. I had no idea about this proffer agreement. Now, and a lot of these detectives are now older and retired, right? And here is another kicker here. He's also talked about, so Keffe Davis is said, everybody that's been associated with the death of Tupac is dead. And it's true. Orlando Anderson's dead.
That last week.
Orlando Anderson, he got murdered in 2003 at the age of 23 years old. He's so like a few years later so everybody that was associated, there's only one person alive besides Keffe Davis. I'm talking, he's the one that made the statement. He's like, everybody that's been involved in this case is all dead. They're people. Tupac's security guys are dead. Remember, I was telling you, they are dead. They got, one of them shot himself, or supposedly shot himself. That's kind of a fishy thing too. It's odd. Now, this is a kicker, and this is something that could be used. I'm not sure. I don't know what's going to happen, but he said everybody's dead except one person, and that's Suge Knight. Suge Knight is the only person that's still alive that was there that night that Tupac got murdered. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Going back to my comment earlier about, you said to repeat it is when a murder happens in hell, you have no angels for witnesses. And this kind of goes along with what that entails, because what Keffe Davis said, and Suge Knight, we know that MFer is not an angel, and he never talked. He never talked. He never talked. And Keffe Davis said the following. This is a kicker. There's only one person left that's alive that was there when Tupac got shot, and that's Suge Knight. And check this out. Keffe Davis said, I made eye contact with him when we shot Tupac. He knows who shot him. He knows who shot him. And if he knows, if that's true, if that's a true statement, Suge Knight has known. He made eye contact with him when they were shooting at him. He knows them. He's known this whole time. But because if he were to tell, imagine if Suge Knight would have gone to police and like, they're the ones that committed murder. Number one, he would have been labeled a rat, or whatever in their world. Number two, that would have taken all the sail from his wings of power, right? As this death row thing, whatever. So of course he wasn't going to talk about it,
right? And
he knew that Pac was going to leave death row anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just crazy. So everything that this guy's talked about, and it's gonna come out, because now this guy is saying, and remember, this is not the whole thing that he just came out. Remember, he made this agreement a long time ago, Danny. This is not new. Well, it's new news as it's coming out, but to the government, to local law enforcement, well, Las Vegas. I keep saying LA. Las Vegas police just found out about it a year ago when they arrested him. But this proffer agreement thing and this confession to the LAPD so that he could get off on a major drug charge that would have sent him, it would have sent him to prison for life. Okay? So they've known about this for like 15 years or 12 years, 12, 13 years. So it's going to be interesting to see. So now it's highly possible, and we'll see how his case plays out. Did he ever receive the $1 million? Did he ever give payout? Are you there? Oh, you put me on. Now it's going to be like, if did he ever put the $1 million hit on? Where did the money go? Did he was the payment made according to his ex bodyguard, which is Gene Deal? He shorts people all the time, so he probably didn't even pay him the bounty if it was indeed a hit. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out in Keffe D's trial, and it's starting soon. And if the U.S. government will use it in their strategy and on their case against Diddy. So it's been a hell of a ride figuring this thing out, but it's important because of the outcome of Keffe D's trial, and if the U.S. government can use it against Diddy down the road in their case. So that's why I looked into this. It's been like I said, it was a deep dive. I wasn't aware of a lot of this information. And it's going to be very interesting to see what comes out of it in Keffe D's trial, and then of course down the road in P Diddy's his own ordeal with the U.S. government. So anyway, hope that you guys, it was a lot. So, and I guess Danny just left me to just keep talking, but anyway, in other news about Diddy, it came out of this week. Thanks, Danny, for leaving me up here by myself. And then 4 days ago, another claim was filed, and that Diddy was, I guess, using. We kind of talked about this before, but he was using Rohypnol or GHB, the date rape drug, and the baby oil, and that's what kind of was also used within the baby oil to get, I guess, the people, of course, that were harmed in these claims that these people are filing against Sean Combs. So basically, he was drugging everybody, and everybody just wouldn't be able to remember. It's just the date rape drugs. So that just came out on Monday, I believe. And one of the claims that's filing, and a lot of these claims, there is also children involved in some of these claims. But just like the opening statement in that other case that you talked about earlier, I think it's going to be really telling when the U.S. attorney, opens his statements out and starts to go over some of the information from these actual cases and claims that we will probably be blown away from. And again, we'll see what happens with Diddy, and we'll see what happens with the opening of it, of this entire ordeal, and if to see if Justin Bieber does become something of a mark in this case to really put the nail, because it's gonna take something big, right? It's gonna take something big to really. I get that. I get that he has all these claims and this and that, but it's gonna take something really, right? Something with a lot of magnitude. It could be. I feel bad for that kid because I have a feeling that something happened there with that with Justin Bieber.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really do. I don't think he will. I'll be surprised if he were to come forward. But the Pac murder, if that is, we'll see how that comes out. But man, if that really is what happened, then there you can just use that alone. That alone right there will be the nail in the you see what I'm saying? That will be the whole racketeering, all that stuff, right? The
Mm-hmm.
whole gangster thing. So that will really put him away for life. If that, if they can use that and hold that in their back pocket for later, that's going to be interesting. And that's why I wanted to bring and deep dive into the Tupac murder because I had a feeling something was going to be pertinent to this now all these allegations and these cases against P Diddy, and because this something of that magnitude could
Mm-hmm.
be, and if it is comes out that he did indeed offer the hit, then that's big. That's bigger than any of the other, other
Yeah.
claims.
Yeah, the feds, it seems like they're, from what you're recapping us with and what we've been hearing in the media for like the last several weeks is they are trying to get Diddy in every avenue they can. It's just to make sure he never sees the light of day again.
No, yeah, the Tupac thing would be the nail in the that would be yep.
Yeah.
Now, and I guarantee you, Davis, Kippy D. Davis made a deal 12, 13 years ago, confessed to it, named Diddy as the guy that offered the million. Did he get paid? You were gone, but I was like, well, we know that.
I had the
Oh,
volume of
we
it up.
know that
I heard
Diddy
everything.
We know that Diddy doesn't shorts people, right? He
Mm-hmm.
sure likes to make the money, but does he give based on his ex bodyguard? He shorts people all the time, including his biggest star that he owed him $10 million in the contract. That's real. That is not conspiracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did he pay the $1 million? I mean, did he? I mean, you know what I mean? Like that. It'd be interesting to see if he did get paid the money, or any money. It doesn't matter. Even if he got paid
Right.
$5 or whatever, right? But is Davis like? What is Davis going to do? Is he going to tell all? Like, is there more to this story? I mean, that's going to be interesting to see in his trial what he says and what comes out of that, and what other information does the LA. I keep saying LA. Does the Las Vegas Police Department or the prosecution, the district attorney's office have besides knowing about this deal that he made with LAPD 12, 13 years ago? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the kicker, man. So
Man, this is wild. I like 2 months ago, like
I would have never I would have never taken a deep dive into Tupac. I would have just been like, we'll never know, But this is crazy. This has been like educational, man. Like I've learned a lot actually from, listening to I mean, I've listened to the detectives that worked the case. They did talk on camera. One of them is deceased now. They're a lot older now, right, and retired and all that. One of them ended up dying of cancer a couple of years ago, but it was interesting to see his take on it, that type of thing. But yeah, man, and it's funny how even though they were going after these Bloods and Crips, they were in the middle of the war back then, and they became friends with some, well, not friends, but you know what I mean. Like they saw me, like, hey, what's going on? It was just funny how they talk about him now and all these nicknames and stuff. But yeah, man, it's just, and they talk about how it was sad and they were so young, Tupac and Biggie.
oh yeah.
Yeah, they were like, you're right, respectively. I think Tupac was like 25 and Biggie was 23. So that they were like 2 years apart. Yeah. So
That's so young.
and it all stemmed from ego. It all stemmed from thinking that these guys were like gangsters, and well, I mean, Suge Knight ended up becoming one. But remember, I told you that the interview that I saw with the Blood guy, one of the guys that was on that worked for Suge Knight, That was part of. He was a true, true blood.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, he's retired and he's old now, but he's like his mistake. Shook Knight. I mean, I get where he started it from, but stick to the. He literally said, stick to the business. Stick to the business. You went gangster. You're not a gangster. Had you just stuck to the business, we wouldn't. No, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. That's what he said. That's what he told him. And the same thing. I mean, like, we know what Diddy did. We've known what he's done now, right? We're learning all this stuff, and these guys just think ego, man. It's ego. And what did I tell you? When a murder happens in hell.
Oh my God! I shouldn't. Don't expect angels.
No,
From,
it's actually pretty easy. When a murder happens in hell, you have no angels for witnesses.
That's it.
You can't trust anybody.
Right.
And that's what happened.
God,
and if this guy had never, this Gene Deal guy, the guy he did his lead bodyguard for that from like 1991, from like 1991, 1992 through 1998 or through 1997. He stopped 98. So for those 6-7 years, had he never came forward, we wouldn't know a lot of this information. He's actually been pertinent to a lot of this thing going on with tellings and stuff. So
oh man,
there you go. I'm done with this 2 parts.
No, that's a ton of information, and thank you for doing such a thorough deep dive, because in regards to like the Tupac murder, Biggie Smalls murder, there's always been speculation and rumors and whispers, but the point now that everything is in the feds are looking into this as a very likely scenario that Puffy did it. Whether there are people going to be like, we've known that all along, and so on and so forth.
Well,
but
yeah, maybe
it's never gotten to this point.
Right. LAPD has known about Biggie, and FBI has known about Biggie for a long time. And LAPD has known about this due to this confession about Pac for like 12 to 13 years. And they only came out recently because they retired. You can't talk about it while you're still working for right. They wrote books and all this stuff. So a lot of these guys retired within the last 8 years. So it's only been kind of, here and there 8 years, but nobody was really paying attention until this Diddy thing, like really has played. Right. And did he order the hit on Pac? We'll see through the trial. We'll see. There's no conspiracy, man, because there's paper. There was signed stuff. You had this. I didn't even know what this thing was. Had you ever known what this was? I had to research what it was. This Proctor deal.
Oh no, I didn't know.
The proffer agreement. I'm sorry, proffer agreement. Yeah. The thing is,
Trooper Proctor on your mind.
Yeah, sorry, the proffer agreement. But yeah, like. But the funny thing about real quick before I end it, the thing about the proffer agreement, that's only usually given out by a U.S. attorney on the federal stuff. Okay, hey, we'll make an agreement. If you tell me about this crime, we will lessen the charge, or we might not even charge you on this one. But it's usually only offered by the U.S. attorney or U.S. government. How they spun it from LAPD to get him to agree with it through the LAPD on this drug charge. Well, it might have been because the drug charge, you know what? I'm sorry. This is probably how it happened. That drug charge is probably federal. It was big. That's probably where they got it through.
Oh boy. I just want to make sure that you see these compliments that you're getting. Great job, Beckham. Thank you, David Ward, for that. Tony Stewart says, thanks, Beckham. I appreciate it. Thank you, Tony Stewart, for that.
Thanks, guys.
Beckham, I'd say you did okay. You did okay. No, I'm just kidding. No, you did excellent. See, Auntie Deb, if you're watching, I'm being nice to Beckham. Let's
No,
One for the
what's
Bucks.
wild is if it's Suge, the whole thing about the hell and the angel, the thing was if Suge Knight if he indeed made eye contact with
Mm,
the killer squad in the car, right? He knew who did it. And he never said anything. And he's dude, he's over there talking about. I saw an interview with Suge Knight like that was like 1997 after the murder of Biggie. Right after the murder of Biggie, dude, this is wild. If you go back and everything I just told you, and you go because remember his ex girlfriend on FBI jurisdiction cried and broke down and said, yeah, he paid this guy $25,000 for the. I mean, if you go back and you watch an interview that he did after the Biggie murder, right, and you you see how his demeanor, he's talking about Pac and what Pac meant to him. And I'm like, dude, you knew that you if you truly made eye contact with the hit squad and you know across that car who the hell was in that car, come on,
mm.
man. And you know why he didn't say anything? Because he ordered the hit on Biggie. There you go. So
Mic
it
drop.
was East Coast versus West Coast.
Yeah. K Dog says, and K Dog, I completely agree with you. Beckham could teach a course on this.
No, man.
Candles in East Coast, West Coast with
Dude,
Mr. Beckham.
it was East Coast, West Coast. Last week I didn't. I remember I didn't really think. I was like, no, it can't be. It might have been the whole radio thing threw me off, and the whole bodyguard thing kind of threw me off too, right? I think, but yeah, it basically ends up being an East Coast, West Coast war.
Yeah. It's, oh God. We will definitely be learning more about this. I mean, yeah,
Well,
make
yeah, I
no
mean,
mistake.
it won't. I mean, I won't bring up the Pac or the Davis thing, Keefe Davis's trial, only if it matters to the Diddy his stuff down the road. But yeah, I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see what comes out of Keefe Davis's trial to see if it was true, this confession was true, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. Oh, I talked about the oil while you were gone. Oh, you heard me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I heard.
yeah. The date drug stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah,
Well,
I
I'm sorry, the
messaged
date
you
rapes.
about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So
God,
that's wild, man. But
this is crazy. Like crazy. So, oh my gosh, we're approaching 2.5 hours. So, Beckham, thank you for that comprehensive update on Diddy, Tupac, everything in relation to Diddy. And yeah,
do you
Beckham will
remember the
keep you
quote?
posted.
Do you remember the quote?
Oh no, don't do this to me. I no. I'm
It's
gonna mess it
easy.
up.
No, I mean it's easy. But it's one of the best quotes I've
It's
ever
such a
heard.
good quote.
It is. Well, yeah. Yeah, and it came from
And it's so relevant.
one of the detectives in this case in the Pac murder. Yeah, he was like, and it's true, man, and it's true. That statement is so true.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. So there's just one more case that just quickly throw at y'all before we end for tonight. Switching gears off of P. Diddy, which don't worry, folks, there will be more P. Diddy news next week. We're just living in a world right now where I can't see Beckham coming on camera and being like, nothing new has happened. So we'll revisit
Yeah,
that. But
Shelley brings the book. Yep, you're right, Shelley. He did.
oh, that there's an interview where Suge Knight said why he didn't say anything. He literally says, why should I do their job for them? Let them
He's been
figure
an
it out.
egotistical asshole. But if he put the hit on Biggie, that's why.
Right. Look at Tony Stewart. Yeah, more Diddy news. So, okay, I'm actually glad Paulcast has left the chat because if he didn't, I was going to say, Paul, you got to go. So
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm sorry, real quick. David Ward, yes, you're right. Like 10 to 12 people died after the Pac murders. It was a 10-day war between the Bloods and the Crips, and about anywhere from, I don't have the exact number, 8 to 10 to maybe 12 people died, gangster, whatever yeah. It was a war between the Bloods and the Crips. Yep, that's true.
K-Dog says the answer is Chuck Norris. Isn't the answer always Chuck Norris? All right, last quick thing for you guys. Disclaimer, I know any kind of crimes against children, that's a very touchy subject for everybody. I will not be getting into the particulars of this case. This is one that I have been following. It's just now at a point now where there's a lot of information coming up and a trial date set. So I'll just tell you guys quickly what the case is so that if this is one where you do want to look into a little bit more, feel free. Or if you're like, hey, I actually already follow that too, then we're all updated. And just very, very, very quickly, this is the Madeline Soto murder. So Stephen Stearns, it was announced that he will be standing trial September 2025. Again, he's accused of abusing and killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto this past February. Just a quick reminder, on February 28th, just a few days before Madeline's body was found, the Orange County Sheriff's Department announced the arrest of Stephen for disturbing evidence allegedly found on his phone during the investigation. He's also been accused of sexually abusing Madeline for years. The connection is that Stephen Stearns was dating Madeline's mother. On March 12th, almost 2 weeks after Madeline's body was found, 60 new charges were filed against Stephen. 8 counts of sexual battery on a child under 12, 5 counts of sexual battery with a child 12 to 18 years old, 7 counts of lewd and lascivious molestation, 40 counts of unlawful possession of materials depicting sexual performance by a child, 10 or more images. So this is going to be a very disturbing case nonetheless. But I know for Madeline Soto has been in the news for quite a bit because at first she was missing and then her body was found. And then we've learned all that we have. Again, I just gave you guys the briefest in a nutshell. I'm sparing the details on this. But if this is one you guys are following, it's moving forward and he's going to stand trial September 2025. So that is the update on that. We talked a lot of true crime. Any last thoughts, comments, concerns before we wrap up for tonight?
The Delphine thing, that was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in that trial, just start listening, folks.
So, like, how do you, just real quick before we end it, how did you feel? Okay, so you had come across you had rumblings about it when you went to CrimeCon. Mm-hmm. What was your thought process and your feelings when it was really solidified through the opening statements of the prosecution?
Today, yeah. I was just like, a mix of, wow, the people at CrimeCon that knew this information, they really know their stuff, and also I was very sad that it was like, I didn't want it to be true, but
yeah.
These girls suffered so, like, this is just such a tragic case. And it made me just very sad that it's like, fuck, these girls really, they were just as, it's so tragic. And then I went from my own, like, oh my God, this is horrible, to, oh my God, the families of Abby and Libby are sitting in court, and I'm sure they've been briefed by the prosecution so that they weren't caught. I would like to think. I don't know how the process works. I really don't. I would like to think they were briefed so they weren't caught off guard with this information.
Oh yeah, yeah, I got you. No,
but they have to sit there and hear this and see images of their child. It's just awful.
Like learning, and like I remember, so learn, you relearn, you re-see, whatever.
Mhm.
Getting into the Pac Diddy thing, there's these gangsters, these Crips, Bloods, they know what they're getting into, right? They know they kill each other. The guy, I'm just remembering, the guy that actually was paid the $25 that supposedly actually shot Biggie a few years later. He was riding his motorcycle at a stoplight. Somebody came up and just AK-47 them in the back. I'm just saying, you know that you live by the code, you die by the code, right? That's the code,
Mhm.
right? That's a completely different thing than like what these little girls suffer through and with all of that. That's just you know what I mean? Like here on this side, there's the code, right? Like you live by,
Yeah.
you die by it. You know what's gonna probably happen to you or whatever. But over here, you have this unspeakable, like
Yeah.
tragic thing that happens, and it's just unexplainable, and it's just something that's you can't even. It's hard to even talk about. It's like hard to even discuss, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus. So completely
Yeah.
different thing, and it's like it's almost like the gang thing is like, well, it's just, that's the life, and over here it's just a
Yeah.
completely
Tony
different
Stewart
thing.
saying exactly what you're saying. Sorry to say, but it's true about the code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll find that's a whole different thing there, man. It's like,
Yeah, K-Dog. Yeah, I saw that too. Libby's grandmother was on the stand today. She said the last thing Libby told her before she left was, "I'll be all right."
see,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Delphi will be interesting trial. I feel like driving over to the area to get a first-hand look at the
You
scene.
should.
Tony,
That'd be cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tony, if you're, I don't know how far you are away from that area, but that's something that, yeah, I would be curious to, because we hear so much about the Monai Bridge. We hear
Mm-hmm.
so much about it and how what people are picturing, it's very different from, when
Oh,
you're
it's like the
there. And
Manson thing with the Cielo Drive. You don't really get a sense of
mm,
like Cielo
yeah,
Drive unless you go and see it for yourself, right?
mm-hmm.
It
Yeah,
gives
you're
you a
spot on.
completely different perspective about it. Yeah.
Totally spot on. West Central Ohio. Okay, gotcha. There was another, oh God, Shelly. Oh, I'm so proud of you, babe. You're amazing. She has
Thank
to say that.
you.
She's your girlfriend.
Thank you.
Oh man. All right, everybody. Let's see. What is this, David Ward? I hope the investigation has looked into the background of this guy. So Richard Allen. I feel like who
You
done
think he's a
this,
serial? Oh, you think David Ward thinks he's a serial?
or that
Maybe not a
I
serial, but he's
agree.
done
You
it
don't go
before.
from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
And there was
Thanks, babe. Or she probably said that a
there
long
was
time
such
ago.
a small window of like when the girls got there and when this like the timing of everything's going to be so important on this. And then quickly before we wrap up, the police sketches, the composites that were released. One was released and everybody was looking for them, and then the police were like, well, actually no, there's a different composite. Looked totally different than the first. So you know that the defense is going to jump all over that. I mean, as they should, they're doing their job, but this is going to be an interesting one. Beckham, what are you doing?
What?
You were doing something with your hand. I'm like, what is this?
I'm flicking this thing. Well,
Oh,
I can't do the dice, so I use
yeah,
the.
damn right you can't do that. I'm like, is this some type of code that I should be
Oh no
something?
no no no! Oh no! I was in the thought process. It just hit me of the. So, it just hit me that I'm saying so the hit on Biggie wasn't necessarily a hit on Biggie. It was probably a hit on Diddy. They just hit Biggie for retaliation. I'll keep thinking about this in my head. And that's what I was like. Anyway, sorry,
Gotcha.
that's what I was doing. I was just thinking about that.
Okay, no, that's fine. I was just like, wait, is
Yeah, I was just in a
this a
thought process.
secret
I
thing I
went
should
into
be
I
picking
went
up on
into
what
a.
you're trying to?
Oh no, I went into a deep thought. But
Tony Stewart says Shelly is amazing. Yes, she is. Yes, the horrific things that happened to this poor child, or are you talking about Abby and Libby from Delphi?
yeah.
I think you are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Or are you talking about Madeline Soto with
No,
Steven
she's.
Stearns?
I don't know. Oh, she might be talking about
I mean,
Taylor.
it applies to all.
Yeah.
3 young children and horrific things happen to all.
Yeah.
So honestly, that statement can really connect to all, I would say. But I wasn't sure which one Shelley was referring to. Okay, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Danny After Dark. And of course, thank you to Mr. Beckham, not only for your great research, but also for being here to entertain everybody as well. See, I was nice again. Auntie Deb, I hope you're Auntie Deb, make note. So, all right, everybody, tune in next week. In regards to what day, again, it'll probably be a Wednesday or have to be a Wednesday or a Thursday for a regular episode. And then we'll have to see about the True Crime and Chill next week. So I know it's Halloween kind of weekend, so we've got to figure out what's going on plans-wise. I will keep you guys posted. If you did not see my episode earlier on this week, new dance season is starting up, and I put in for a lot of pieces, and I'm doing pieces, dances on both Monday and Tuesday nights. I really wanted to be in them both, so that will leave either Wednesday or Thursday, but we'll figure it out together. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody. Again, thank you, Mr. Beckham. Until next time, remember, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. And Beckham, lead us out with that other statement one more time.
If the murder happens in hell, you have no angels for witnesses.
See you next time, everybody. Bye.